woke up wondering what kind of customer service they'd get today? I doubt if it even crossed their minds. Some probably woke up excited just to be traveling. Others are sad about leaving those they love. Some are looking forward to seeing family or maybe lying on a beach somewhere. Some could really use a vacation. Maybe they're having a bad day or a bad year. Whatever they're thinking about, it's probably not customer service. They're concerned with their problems, their world. Truth is, most of us take customer service for granted. We only think about it when it's missing. If we had to spell out our expectations, they'd probably be very simple. We want to feel welcomed when we walk in. We expect to be taken care of, get what we came for. It's always nice to be appreciated, thanked for our business. And if we get invited back, that's a plus too. In short, we want to be treated like a guest in a home. No more, no less. Most of us will even overlook little snags like this one. They're no fun, but hey, most of us, that is. Unfortunately for you, if you work with customers for a living, we're not the only kind of guests in this line. There are a few other fine folks in this line. By the time they finally reach you, they've gone from being somebody's sweetheart, somebody's daddy, to your worst nightmare. Wait, it shouldn't have to be like this. Hi, I'm Ken. What's your name?
Buddy.
Well, buddy, we've been through the line together and all, and I gotta tell you, I'm concerned about you. Concerned about all the turmoil and the anger deep inside of you. Level with me. You don't want all that pain inside, do you?
No!
No, I didn't think so. Let it out, my new friend. Let it out.
Someone's crying.
Hello?
What?
Do you plan to move anytime soon?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, us too, pal.
My point is, no one, not even a difficult guest like my friend there, starts out looking for some ugly confrontation. So, if you can learn to spot trouble early on, you got a good chance of turning things around before it's too late. Basically, there are 3 levels of difficult guest: a distracted guest, a disappointed guest, and a disruptive guest. The first and easiest to deal with is the distracted guest. They're also the easiest to spot because they always arrive with baggage.
Whose turn is it?
Like it or not, a distracted guest brings their world right to your doorstep.
Hi.
Hi.
I could not find a sitter. Happy birthday!
Oh, well, come on in. They're here, distractions and all. They're in your world now, and they need your immediate attention, whether you're ready or not. Other times, guests arrive so distracted that you'll feel like you're part of the furniture.
Hi, sorry, we're
How's
late.
it going?
Listen, we can't
Hey,
stay
you look
long.
like a
Just a
natural
tiny piece
spring
of
water,
cake
like a
for me.
premium
No ice
or a
cream.
vintage root
Maybe
beer.
a double
Okay,
tall
well,
tea
take
cup.
that.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy whatever. Where's the bathroom?
Down the hall. A distracted guest is really just a guest that hasn't been properly welcomed to your world yet. They're still distracted by their world, their baggage. So whether they're in a foul mood or stressed out or maybe temporarily overwhelmed by life or their kids or just in a huge hurry, remember, welcome them like a guest to your home. Take care of their needs, their distractions as soon as possible. Because little distractions left unattended have a nasty way of growing into minor disasters.
Hi. Do you think your kids would like a free sample?
Thank you. That would be great.
Hey, guys.
The best thing you can do for a distracted guest is let them know you're aware of their distraction. You understand their situation, and you're going to personally do your best to take care of them.
Listen, why don't I grab a high chair for your little one?
Thank you.
But beware, some guests walk in distracted by their own self-importance. They're just looking for a chance to feel superior, and they take great delight in letting you know that you don't measure up.
Friend? Could you? Thanks.
How may I help you?
You can get us out of this stupid line so we can make our flight.
We're going to hold your flight to make sure you get on. If you already have seats assigned, I
You
can go
bet we got seats. Big, fat, leather first-class seats.
Great, we have a first-class check-in right this way.
It's about time.
Remember, you can't change their personalities, and you can't change their world. But for the short time that they spend in your world, your job is still the same. Welcome them, take care of their needs, thank them for coming, and invite them back.
Thank you.
There's another kind of difficult guest you'll probably run into. This guest doesn't arrive distracted, but they do arrive with certain expectations. And while they're with you for some reason or another, they become a disappointed guest. It could be your price, or your product, or your service. They could be disappointed about anything. Excuse me. I think that's me in the middle there.
They said no one is in the middle.
Oh.
I told you they'd do this. Give him the aisle.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, you overbooked this plane.
You told me nothing. Give him the window.
Oh, yeah, and have him crawling all over us. Look at him. Look at him. He's huge. Just move over.
You move over.
People, maybe there's another seat.
Yeah, stick him someplace else.
We're blocking.
Give him the window.
Give him the aisle.
Sometimes a disappointed guest won't say a word. They'll just sit there and fume and resolve to never come back. By the time they do decide to say something, you'll wish they hadn't.
You think because I'm old I can't read? The only thing right on this bill is my name.
I was told that these were waterproof, and they shrunk the first time I washed them.
If you are confronted by a disappointed guest, the problem is often not their baggage, but yours.
Snack?
It's about time. We're starving here. This is it? This is what you're serving us? You should think about a caterer.
You should think about a caterer.
14 peanuts. This is a meal.
It's your meal. Snack?
The truth is, we all have baggage on both sides of the counter. If someone attacks or insults or confronts us, we're human. We have a natural flight or fight response. Now, our flight response is to escape. We do whatever we can to get out of the situation with the least amount of pain. We blame someone else in another department, or the computer, or sometimes even our own lack of authority.
The only thing right on that is my name.
They just put in a new billing system.
I'm not interested in your excuses.
So you'd like to talk with someone else?
Hey, what about my pillow? Hey!
Our flight response to avoid the problem or shift blame does very little to solve anything. At best, it just prolongs the solution. Our fight response, on the other hand, makes everything instantly worse.
They shrunk the first time I washed them.
No. May I? Can you believe it? Hand-sewn Italian leather, and they shrunk the first time he washed them. We're stunned.
I never asked for an anesthetic.
True, but you'll notice there was no charge for your lobotomy.
What?
The seatbelt sign means we stay in our seats.
Excuse me, could you put this up above for me?
No.
Oh, could you put this up above for me? Thanks. Fair or not, when it comes to serving customers, you're expected to leave your baggage at the door. Both your flight and your fight responses are sure ways to end a relationship with a guest when your job is to make it last. So how do you do that? 4 simple steps. L-A-S-T. Easy to remember. Listen, apologize, solve, and thank. First off, listen. Really listen to them. Don't interrupt. You've got to find out exactly what they expected and why they're disappointed.
They shrunk the first time I washed them.
Are they disappointed with your product or your service? If you interrupt them, you won't learn what you have to do to solve their problem. Listening helps in 2 ways. The more a guest expresses their disappointment, the better they feel. And the longer you can wait to respond, the more time you'll have to check your personal baggage. Once you've listened to uncover why they're disappointed, it's time for the next step. Maybe the toughest step of all. Apologize. Now, you might find it hard to apologize for several reasons. One, you've done nothing wrong. Two, the customer is being rude. Or three, you just don't feel like it. First, it's important to remember that an apology should never be about taking the blame or admitting guilt. Extending an apology is not about who's right and who's wrong. Your apology is simply an expression that you are personally sorry your guest is disappointed.
I was told they were waterproof.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry this happened. These are beautiful shoes. I can understand how you'd be upset.
And maybe your disappointed guest is acting a bit on the rude side. Don't take it personally. Be a pro. Set aside your temptation to flight or fight. Try to think of why they're so upset. Ask yourself if you might be too. Look for a way to show empathy.
Still hungry? I found some snack bars.
I'm sorry our bill was so confusing. I understand your frustration. I'd want to know exactly what I paid for as well.
Oh, no thanks. And finally, there are bound to be times when you just don't feel like apologizing. Days when you don't even feel like smiling. But that's when your baggage is showing. Fair or not, as a customer service pro, you're expected to leave your baggage at the door when you walk into work.
He might be more comfortable with this.
Thank you. Once you've listened for their disappointment, and you've found a way to show empathy with your apology, you're ready for the next step. To solve the problem together.
You're not happy, we're not happy.
Let your guest know that you're in this together now. Use sentences that emphasize words like me and you.
Tell me what I need to do to make this right for you.
The key to solving a guest's problem is having the courage to do what it takes to make things right. A disappointed guest doesn't really care why something happened. They've got a problem. They're talking to you. They want to know what you're going to do to make it right for them.
And why don't you let me pull your file and we can go over this together, line by line?
Don't worry if you don't have all the answers. It's like they say, guests don't really care how much you know, but they do want to know how much you care. If you and your disappointed guest solve a problem together, you've turned a potentially lost customer into a loyal customer. So thank them for working with you, or for being so patient, or for bringing the problem to your attention. That's how you stop it from happening again. Count yourself lucky if you can spot a disappointed guest early and turn them around. You may never know how close you came to confronting a very different kind of guest. Given the right dose of elements, any one of us can be transformed from an easygoing, well-adjusted guest into an unruly beast called the disruptive guest. The formula for creating this monster is really no secret. We all know how it happens because we're all human. When the elements of injustice, disrespect, embarrassment, or insult are mixed together, the results can be frightening. It may not happen all at once, but slowly, step by step, this beast can grow inside even the most patient guest as the lethal elements are added one by one.
Could I help whoever was next?
That'd be me.
What can I do for you?
Which way to the nearest bar?
Well, that depends. Do you want nearest or most interesting?
Remember, as your guest, if we feel we've been ignored or treated unfairly, we have been. Real or imagined, it's our perception that counts. If you don't agree, put yourself in our shoes.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. A toast. Everyone needs a glass.
When it's your turn to be the guest, you know clearly when you're being snubbed or ignored.
Here, and there you are. To midlife.
We all expect to be treated fairly. If we feel we've been wronged or treated unjustly,
That's when the element of injustice is added to the formula.
the next element that transforms the disruptive guest can happen quite by accident. The result is still the same.
You can never get a table here. You just fly into town and...
Well, I have my secrets. I'll be right back. Excuse me, excuse me, folks. Buongiorno, mademoiselle. The Sperling party of three.
I have no idea who this is, but I know they're more important than you. Asagios? Yes. A table? Well, of course we have.
Maybe that's not exactly what she said, but that's what I heard.
We could accommodate you right away.
You may think that phone calls and distractions are just a part of business, but imagine how they make your guests feel.
You may not believe this, but it was the most amazing thing. My father hugged me for the first time, and he said those 3 simple words.
You old dog! Charlie! You came!
As guests, we don't understand your distractions, but we understand clearly when you stop paying attention to us. That's when the element of disrespect is mixed in.
That sounds great.
Well, let's sign the contract back.
There's one element that rarely happens by accident.
Do you have another credit card, sir? This one bounced. You're apparently on a sinking financial ship. And this business lunch is a desperate attempt to drag 2 innocent clients down with you. I took the liberty of cutting up your life vest.
My friend, I am delighted you could join us this evening. We're about ready to serve.
No problem. I was able to reschedule at the last minute.
I hope you won't mind sitting here.
Not at all.
Ole!
When it comes to creating monsters out of guests, few things work as well as good old-fashioned embarrassment. But remember, since every guest is different, there's no telling when the formula is complete. And you may be the unlucky one who adds the final element.
Hi.
Hello.
I need to cash a check.
Do you bank here, sir?
No, actually, I'm from out of town, but there was a mix-up, and I lost my credit card, and I was just kind of hoping.
Kind of a mix-up.
Well, I don't know, some computer thing. Anywho.
So your account was delinquent?
Well, yeah, I guess, supposedly. Well, no. Well, hey, look, I'm in kind of a bind, so if you could just...
Sir, can you show me any kind of valid ID?
Did she just say valid?
May I have your attention, please? I believe there is one among us who was not invited. This person certainly is not welcome and has no valid reason for being here. So tell me, does anyone know this woman?
About the worst thing you can do to your guest is to question their worth or integrity. So beware, once the formula is set in motion,
The element of personal insult will usually send us over the top.
Valid ID? I got your valid ID right here. I got diners, I got voter registration, music club, health club, book of the month, I got fruit of the month, valid. How about positive ID? Let's talk dental records, huh? Hey, it's me on the cover of Time. You see? Kenny! I'm totally valid!
There are basically two ways to deal with a disruptive guest. You can haul us away kicking and screaming, but that doesn't really solve much. We lose our dignity and you lose a customer. On the other hand, if you can put yourself in our shoes and try to remember why we became disruptive in the first place, you can approach things in a more positive, professional way. Think of a disruptive guest as merely a disappointed guest who's also felt personally offended.
have a children's menu
Whether
available.
intentional or accidental, we've truly felt insulted. Or unfairly ignored.
I need a room.
Or deeply embarrassed.
I hope this doesn't have any adverse effect on our relationship.
When that's happened, you have to deal with us before you can deal with our problem.
Excuse me!
If you can, get us away from your other guests. Don't let our disruption spread and ruin things for others. If you feel you need to, get help. Sometimes if we erupted with you, it's easier for us to calm down with someone else.
Miss Cynthia, I'm the manager here. Is there something I can help you with, sir?
Yes. This person won't allow me to cash a check. She says I'm not valid.
Although a disruptive situation is more intense, the steps you take to solve things are exactly the same. LAST. Listen, apologize, solve, and thank. This time, think of it as your last chance. Step 1, listen, really becomes a chance for the guest to vent. If we don't vent, we'll explode. More than anything else, a disruptive guest has a need to be heard. Lowering your own voice helps us to lower ours. But don't cut us off. Let us say what we need to say. You'll probably need the time as well to check your personal baggage and regain your composure. But beware, we felt personally offended, so unfortunately, our language back to you might be very personal as well. You're bound to feel the flight or fight response building inside you. Don't fall for it. Don't take anything we say personally. Don't become part of the problem. Once we've vented, we need to know that you understand how we feel and that you're sorry it happened. A sincere apology at this point is your best tool in getting control of the situation. That's step 2. Apologize. Forget explaining policies or procedures right now. Just tell us that you're going to do what it takes to make things right. Once we've calmed down, a disruptive guest simply turns into a disappointed guest.
We'll be happy to upgrade you to a suite, of course.
And that's when we can work together on step 3 to solve our problem.
What I can do is call your home branch and verify your funds.
Be aware that we might feel slightly awkward and embarrassed once things get back to normal. We've just hung it out there for all the world to see while you kept your calm. That's a good time for the final step, to thank us for helping to work things out. Be gracious. Give us some credit. We'll feel better and you'll come across as an absolute pro.
Shirley, I'm glad you brought the boys. I'll speak to the caterer.
So, remember, you can't fix everything and you can't change everyone's world. But you can take pride in the fact that during the time they spend in your world, you've done your best to treat them like a welcome guest.
Darling, we have guests.
Guests? We have guests!
Sir? Sir? This is our final destination.
Thank you. The next time you run into a difficult guest, remember, LAST. Listen, apologize, solve, and thank. In the end, that's what it takes to make sure great customer service lasts, even with a difficult guest.